So, number 3, quitting the rat race has become the new rat race. Entrepreneurship and risk aren't for everyone. This is perfect for those who prefer stability. The only people who have truly escaped this system are those who stopped comparing and started doing what's most suitable for them. In the intro, you only put the first part, but I actually think the next 3 sentences get pretty deep.
Yeah, I only really read the intro. And I was like, this feels like a topic I could ramble on for like 15 minutes right away. I didn't really get context behind like the way that the person was saying, because I didn't want to like I didn't want to dive into it, because then I felt like all of my thoughts were going to be based on what they were saying. Yeah. And I was like, I just like that first sentence and feel like we can go hard at this, because you and I are around passionate younger creators like all day, every day, pretty much. And they're all at different levels. Like some of them are successful, and we have like Will, producer behind here, is kind of in this mold a little bit, where it's like you're working so hard. Like the rat race for a long time was just being like, I got to get through the 9 to 5 kind of thing. And now it feels like so many people are trying to get out of it that new rat race is like the idea of getting out of the rat race, you know? So it's like, it's a really interesting concept, and maybe it goes to the point of like self-awareness for some people, saying like, hey, maybe all it takes is like, rather than you being a full-time creator or an entrepreneur or whatever, you might just love life as like the number 4 guy at Snapback Sports. Yeah. You know, I think there's like other paths that most people didn't really understand were viable, but as smaller and medium-sized businesses start to pop up like ourselves, and more of them become popular over like the decade, there'll be more opportunities that I think are more enjoyable and fit your lifestyle a little bit more. But I just thought it was like a really interesting concept, and I was like, this hit the nail on the fucking head. Yeah,
I mean, it's been trendy. Gary Vee made it trendy in like the 2010s for sure, where it was like, quit your job, work in whatever niche, you can make 70 grand doing whatever it might be. And I think that for the people that are so miserable in their jobs, you probably will be happier making 70 grand doing what you love than making 150 grand and actually dreading every single waking hour, right? But I think with the creator economy, what's become interesting is the creator economy isn't saying you can make 70K. It's saying you can make the 150. But the jump from the 70 to 150 comes with a lot of added bullshit that is not necessarily as exciting. And that's where entrepreneurship is really like, you kind of do have to want to be an entrepreneur. Like being a creator and an entrepreneur are not necessarily one and the same. Yeah. I think the best creators are probably also entrepreneurial if you want that like outsized outcome. Sure. But there's also like this word, and dead in the middle of the, I guess the quote or the whole series of the paragraph is stability. That's just like staring back at me. I am comfortable in this instability, but I know like 85% of my friends, family, people I talk to, like they actually just prefer the stable job.
It's even also like the older you get in life, it's like the higher that risk is to leave, of course.
For sure. And I think there is this creator time stable crossover, which is like you build a big enough brand for yourself, you build enough leverage, and you can be used in content. Like content's not going anywhere. Content has existed since the start of time, just in different forms. So you can build yourself into that stability. I think of like the top beat reporters. So we went to like an Atlanta United game in KC, and we were in the media room.
That's lacrosse, right?
That's soccer. Yeah. And we're in the press conference, and like there's clearly this one guy who's like been, I mean, they've only existed for 5 years, but he's clearly been in media for a while. And like he's the guy. He's gonna ask the first question. He's comfortable asking the follow-up.
I got a side question for that. I've never been in the room with the media asking players like after games. Yeah. Do they all? It feels like from an outside perspective, only watching on TV, do they all raise their hand and just start yelling their question at once, and the guy's like, "You're up"?
So,
how does that work?
So I've only sat in. So there's press conferences where it's going to be one person. Mm-hmm. Then there's like media sessions, which could be like Final Four, Super Bowl. That is like you just raise your hand. It's whoever the player sees at the Super Bowl. At the press conference,
so if a player don't like you, you're just not getting called.
Yeah, he's not. But at a press conference, there'll normally be like the head of press who will know everyone in the room, or be like, okay, they're up next. And then the weirdest one, this is our first time ever doing locker room, and they bring the press in like while the guys are like showering and just finishing up. So you literally have to like watch them get dressed and then you can tell when they're going to be ready to do media. But you got to keep checking, like, have they put their underwear on?
That's weird.
It is a weird, very intrusive thing for reporters.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man.
But this guy at Atlanta United, he's clearly like the lead dog, I would say. I don't know if he works for the team or like for Bally's, which is Atlanta based.
Bally's, that's crazy. Bally's for sure, yeah.
I was thinking about soccer balls. But Casey was like, not shitting on him, but it was just like, damn, like, this is really his job. It's just like he watches all the Atlanta United games. He's the main press guy. Like, there's no ceiling for him, right? But in the same vein, like, he has the most stable job that he's enjoying every single day. And so if you are looking for that stability, like...
But that's what I mean, though, is like, I almost feel like the 9 to 5 has been put on this pedestal in a negative way.
That's what I mean.
Where I'm like, I feel like it's our job to just make it aware to people that there are so many 9 to 5s that even I am like the most, I'm not like anti the man or like anti 9 to 5 per se, but like I think there are a handful of 9 to 5s that I would even be like, okay, this kind of rocks. And I think a lot of them are out there for a lot of people that want to get out of their 9 to 5s, but just don't understand how many cool opportunities there are actually out there in the 9 to 5 world that like they would enjoy just as much or even more than being stressed out about being a full-time creator or having anxiety around it, or like Will, like piecing together different parts of your life to just make it work. You know, no matter what path you go down, it's going to be stressful as shit. Like, I mean, you and me are probably overwhelmed, you know, every day with the decisions that we need to make. And people who are half in, half out are overwhelmed with like whether or not they want to go all in. People who have their 9 to 5s that they hate are stressed out because they fucking hate it. Like it's all good and bad, and you just kind of have to pick your poison, but understand that there are usually better options out there if you're willing to kind of open your eyes and reach out to people that you admire. And like you just hired Sean, your head of operations. Like, head of operations is a job that can be had at many, many companies, but I'm sure he's fucking enjoying the office environment here, and he's like, I love working for Snapback because
like,
it's a different type of company.
He's still helping me with our taxes, with compliance, with legal. But, like, even the fact that it's in sports, like, he's helping me buy tickets for our event, right? He's still doing, like, some of the shitty work of not being in the content, but even the fact that it's interacting in sports, and then you get the additional part. Yes, he's in a stable job. He is working in a field he loves, and he doesn't have to go start his own thing and ride through this crazy wave of whatever life could be.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think about some even professional teams. Like, if you're a player on a really shitty team, it's like basketball's not fun. You're on a really good team, you're like, basketball's fun now. And that, I feel like, is similar to working. Like, not every job has to suck. Sure, there are going to be parameters that suck, but like, no, even if you're the most successful creator in the world, you have shit that you don't want to do every single day, and you'll have deadlines for some things, no matter how much of you're like the top person in the chain of things. Anyways, like, there are always going to be constrictions everywhere, but there are many options out there that I think are real that just need to be made more aware of. So quitting the rat race does not need to be this like overwhelming thing. I think you just need to take smaller steps along the way to try to figure out what it is you actually want, because there's so many opportunities that would fit that bill, I think.
It's all about self-awareness.
Yeah,
like,
always.
you know whether you're, I don't even want to say built for it, if you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you can take the turn. Well, you're nodding your head a lot. Do you have certain thoughts on that?
I feel like we're dropping bars. That's why.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm just kind of going through this exact thing right now. Like, I just took on another client this week, but, like, I literally don't have more hours. I'm working, like, 70, 80 hours a week probably. So, like, I spent all week looking for potential editors to hire and people who have, like, kind of are on the career path that I was on 4 years ago, and basically trying to sell them on, come do what I'm doing now, which I was doing on the side of my 9 to 5, and then in 2 years you can do what I'm doing now, which is like mishmashing, doing big content today. I spent the first half of my day working on my Live podcast. I spent this morning from 7 to 9 a.m. before the Live podcast was even filmed working on my Golf Digest stuff. Like, then I spent an hour and a half interviewing people today. Then I took the subway here. Then when I go home, I'm going to do another 3 hours something else. Like, it's honestly fun. It's
I was about to say, if you told yourself that you were going to be doing that 5 years ago, you would have been like, that is fucking hype as shit. You know what I mean?
The second I got into sports production, because I really had no interest in production, I just wanted to be in sports, and I knew I could, like, kind of forge a career that way. It was like, the long-term goal is open up some sort of production house because I knew there was a space there that I could operate in that isn't being used. Like, I don't know people who do that. They're just all like, I knew all these startups want to make content, and like the 2 newest clients I've added are startups who just want to pay someone on a 3-month thing or whatever. So like, I'll either do it for 3 months and it'll be great for one of us or both of us, and I'll continue, and I worked in a renewal bonus to that, or I'll be like, this is not worth my time even though it's good money because it's not helping me go anywhere. It's just like giving me so much opportunity to do so many different things. Like, I mean, I work sort of for you, I work sort of for you, I work for both of you. Like, just taking different opportunities for different reasons, like not just the money, has been a lot of fun. And like, even though it's more stressful than I've ever had work before, at the end of each day, like I enjoy my downtime way more.
Yeah.
You're also married with nothing to do. That's the dream. No, that is actually the new dream. The new dream is, it used to be like the 22 to 25, like go out in the city with your friends. And now it's like I'm just chilling on Saturday night.
Facts.
I literally had plans last 3 nights. Now I have no plans next 3 nights. I'm very excited.
Right. It's amazing.